All right, I froze up for a minute there.
All right, we're live.
All
Greetings,
right.
brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spear, and I'm here with the legendary Brother Air, and we are gonna have a nice little discussion. And I'm gonna try to come outside because it's such a nice day, and I don't want to be stuck inside. So what's going on, Brother Air?
Greetings to you, Professor Sparrow, and the Spike Lee effect today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, high tech. Mucus-free-life.com must be doing real good, man. got, got some high tech stuff going, man. So yeah, but yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of what's the word? You kind of indulged me today with the quickie.
Yeah. You said you had some things to get off your chest. So, and I like the topic.
Yeah,
And so yeah,
yeah, and
what's been going on, man? What's happening over at the Brother Era Estate?
yeah. I don't know about that now. It's the ownership is and I don't know. You know, I don't know what I've done. What has my karma? What has happened with my karma that it created this situation? But you know, and the
Yeah.
disclaimer is, you know, we're doing this. Disclaimer is this doesn't apply to all meat eaters.
Mm.
I hope it doesn't. You know? But it's just but I think we had talked earlier this week about some things that I was seeing because I hadn't lived with a meat eater in like 40 years. You know, and so it it you definitely see life.
What, Brother Air? Kind of lost you there.
Uh, Getting I guess getting in touch with what's really going on out here by being so far away from it mentally and physically, not having it around you on that level, uh, really gave me some insights into seeing what was going on and observing uh, just how pus. Let's clarify this. Like we want to discuss pus
Yeah.
today. You know, like the eating of pus and what it does and the effects. And I truly believe, man, is that pus eating really creates a, um, an awareness. Well, it's not even an awareness. It's almost like they're living outside of their bodies.
Yeah.
They don't really realize um, uh, what the reality really is in terms of their relationships with with other living things and just themselves. I say this is because I watch the person that's here in this house, and they spend 2 and 3 hours on their hair, and I mean, like, really prepping, and it's not like a lot of hair. This is a little short little haircut, little, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know, but we talking 2 and 3 hours, man. You know, um, I'm normally up around, you know, up and going and trying to get my locomotion going around 9 o'clock, and so I had to kind of work around that because I move like I move. You know, I'm not used to having nobody in the way of anything that I do because, you know, I'm by myself, you know. And me and they it's different, and watching that, man, uh prepping like that for 2 and 3 hours on hair, that, you know, everything is in place, but how they are so far out of their bodies where they don't even recognize that their bodies are swollen up
Mm.
and obese, but they really believe that their hair is looking really good.
Yeah.
And it might be. I mean, I'm not sure to is the perspective of put into how your hair do look, and like it's like not going no farther uh, below the neck. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
like that that that's like a body of land that doesn't exist. You thing
Right, right.
uh, a little different in terms of just noticing how they think about themselves, how this obesity thing has become normality, and even, I guess, just everybody just believes that it's normal now. It's normal to see somebody obese. It's normal.
Right,
It's
right.
it's normal for women to. It's almost like the reverse of how somebody anorexic and who has what is it, bulimic um,
That's one of those.
tendencies.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Look at themselves, how they look at uh, you know how they will show you certain things about bulimic and anorexic people, how they look in a mirror and they think that there's weight on them that's not on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So what I think is the reverse is
Mm.
that these folks look at, they see themselves in the mirror, and it doesn't affect them that they're obese because, and the reason why I'm saying this is because of what they're wearing. They're wearing tight spandex.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's almost like they think they're skinny, you know?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yep, yeah, the tight spandex and they got them platform
And I'm
shoes
thinking,
and the boots.
yeah, and I'm thinking, and I'm not trying to make fun. What I'm doing is I'm saying that this is a real mental thing that's going on, man, where they really don't see themselves as being obese. because society somebody. And I said what I was gonna do, I was gonna just notice, man, and all the women, man. I mean, it was just one after another, and for this, uh, well, this observation was I decided it was gonna be black women, and I started, and it was out of every 20 black women that walked into that Kroger's, maybe one that wasn't obese, or but I'm telling you, it was one after, and I must have seen 100 black women walk into that Kroger's, maybe more than that, and all of them was obese.
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
it was just everybody that got from old to young to middle age, all of them was obese. And what it's they real watching yourself just puff up, and that doesn't affect you, but you're gonna and taken care of. I mean, they had the streaks, they had the weaves, I mean, it was really like taken care of, like they had spent some time getting above the neck together, no
Right.
time below the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been something, man, that it's a psychology going on now with pus eating that has taking it somewhere else, man. Psycho, like it's very psycho now. Now, it is really a psychological problem as well as physiological. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point about the whole mental
So,
piece of looking in the mirror and really not seeing something that's rational. You really don't see that. It's like being on the Titanic and you don't know it's sinking. You can't
right,
see
yeah.
it. You don't see it. It's just like, man, we're having a good old time up here.
Well, you're just not in touch. You're so far out of your body. You know what they say, the out of body experience. That's
Yeah.
that's that's the real out of body experience that exists in this country, and probably out of the country. I mean, it's obesity. And I can't even use that word anymore because it's the normality of saying obesity is just so accepted as, we have to, this is a psychological uh, and physiological problem that like I said, people don't even realize, man. They just, because you don't put on weight. You don't put on weight like, you don't put on 50 pounds like in 3 weeks. That might take a year or two. 5 pounds
Right.
this month, 5 pounds another. You know what I mean? It takes a while. And so to watch yourself puff up, you're looking in the mirror every day, you getting dressed, to watch yourself puff up. And I know I've been very crucial about myself. If I look and I have like a little bit of stomach hanging over my belt. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like, what is going on? Like, you can lose it like that. that fast. You know what I mean? You can become so out of touch with your body and connecting the whole thing, and because of society makes you think that whatever society holds for you is more important than you. So you got to get out here and run and get up at 6 in the morning to be here at this time and do this, and then you just get on this hamster treadmill, you know what I mean, going nowhere fast, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it tragically falls. You tragically fall, and those tragic uh, things become you attack your heart, not a heart attack. You attack your heart. There's
Right.
no such thing, as a heart attack. Strokes. And they try to tell you, well, you can't take out the fact of what you're putting in your mouth. You can say that if you, I guess, if you did did the brother air thing and didn't eat for 10 months or so, then maybe you can say, okay, this is stress related. But I'm saying when you're eating, you got to, can't no disease be diagnosed and say that it wasn't your diet, because you're eating.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so it's stress related. Yeah, whatever. Like you know what I say about the stress thing. You remember that about Harriet Tubman and the kind of stress. Imagine the stress that she was going through, in the Underground Railroad, and with white folks looking for her and tracking her down. That was very stressful. She didn't have a stroke. you know. I mean,
That's
I
stress.
mean, yeah, that's some stress. White folks all over the country looking for you, and you running through woods, and that's
Dogs
some stress.
chasing you.
Say that again.
I said dogs chasing you.
Yeah, yeah, dogs chasing you. I said, now that's some stress. So I didn't see her having strokes and stuff. Um, so I mean, man. So that's really, man, what was on my mind about this quickie. And I guess that's a new term for some of these hangouts now, because you did your quickie, and I was so impressed with your little quickie. I said, man, I need to do a quickie.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so yeah, that was what was happening, man. With that, is that I'm really seeing some real disturbing tendencies in terms of where the culture, where the society is going, and I mean, it's almost like somebody has to identify it. I think somebody has to identify it in a state of emergency time that's gonna get through to people, man, because it's
Yeah,
just not,
yeah.
people are not picking up on this, and we're talking about a lot of ills that go on in society, and a lot of them come from this pus eating and mucus and pus eating, but this pus eating that
Well, and it's almost like there's really another layer to this whole thing, because what if instead of being, in America, man, it's everything is so corn fed, and it's like starch even though there's meat, the meat is like cut with starch. So you can't go to McDonald's and get real meat. You're getting meat that's cut with fillers and all kinds of other stuff. So in terms of so many mucus types being in the United States, that is definitely due to high starch eating, high fat eating, and yeah, there's a lot of meat eating. I would be interested in the dynamic would be shifted a bit if you were talking about one-sided meat eaters overeating meat and that uric acid type, because
Yeah.
because that's a whole other problem where again, people that are skinny, and they're mutant and their uric acid types, but they don't have a talk about versus mucus type. So at least
Right.
an overweight person, that a mucus type, they do have that chance to see it, like you, but
Right.
unless they have the mental illness like you're talking about, where you can't even see it anymore, But
Right.
with the uric pieces, that's almost that makes it real hard for the people that are in that position, because then they'll start getting strokes in their 40s and wonder, like, well, I thought I was healthy. I'm not fat, and then they die.
That happens with couples. A obese woman with a uric acid husband who's thin. They're eating the same thing. So, we can see those types are real things, those types. And like you said, uh, all of a sudden they're thin and they walking around, they have a stroke, or they attack their heart. Um, uh, and so, I mean, that whole thing is, and the person in my house, I watch their diet, man, and it's just terrible. I mean, it's because I don't allow any meat in the house or any dairy, but I've tried to be as lenient as I can be with whatever, and it's been like Oreo cookies, man. I haven't seen those those kind of brands in my house, you know. Just to see those brands on the table, man, it's like weird, It's, sweet and low,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And just all those brands, prison cafeteria, It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, this is deep, man, and they don't know, they don't even remember what they've eaten, because if you ask them what they've eaten, they'll forget all the snacking, but they'll just talk about a meal that they had. And
Right.
I sat and watched and asked her about what did she eat, and she just left off like, 5 pounds of food that she had consumed just snacking, and big, these big muffins, and that wasn't even, she didn't. And then I had to remind her, and she said, "Oh yeah, I did eat that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like that was enough for a meal, and she sees, she trips on me and Baby Baji because we eat one meal, the fruit in the morning, and then the one meal. That's it later on at night, and it can be crazy because we come in at 3 in the morning, or so I'm gone overnight for a couple of nights. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's tripping her out, as far as just our schedule, because we're not on a schedule like that. We don't have to be up at 6 in the morning and have to clock in at 7, and so for us to be up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I've tried to be a little, I've tried to be a little cool, but I mean, you just can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't change that. When you coming in at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, how do you cook in and stuff? I need to get down there, and he's into his juicing right now, so he's running the juicer, you know, at 4 in the morning or something, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a real a whole nother culture inside of a there's a culture trying to be a culture inside of a deaf culture.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, that's what exists. And
yeah.
so so I mean that's
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 a good quote. Yeah, someone write that one down, guys. You know, yeah, it was a culture. What'd you say? A culture trying to be a culture inside of a death culture.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll see that posted somewhere because I know professors. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
what would you tell? What would you tell people? Maybe folks that don't have control over keeping flesh and dairy out of the house, but they live with meat and dairy eaters. You know, what's your insights and your wisdom for those folks to be able to, you know, kind of cope with things and, you know, deal with stuff and just kind of keep, you know, keep their practice on a high level?
Well, you always have to be gracious to whoever you're living with. I mean, if you're living with someone, you always have to be gracious to them, to be under their roof, and you never wanna try to berate somebody because because I grew up eating bacon and eggs, you know. So I mean, this is definitely a process. Um, what I would say is things that you can do is get your own forks, knives, plates, pots, pans, you know. Do that, definitely. If you can do it, do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, at least do that. And so there's no cross contamination going on, and so but always be respectful if it's somebody else's house, and a lot of times, man, in situations that like that, they are watching you. They might not say it, but they do. They watch, and they pick up on some things. So sometimes you can be an influence when you're not even trying to influence. You're just trying to be you, and sometimes you're gonna be so disgusted with them because you're gonna see them bringing some chipotles and all kind of disgusting things that you really just repulses you. And but you know you kind of just have to turn and walk away and go to your room and stay busy, man. Stay into something. Turn that television off because that can frustrate you to clock on the closest person to you.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so that's another thing is that television, man. Is man, I get so much stuff done now. Not watching television for decades. Um, uh, that that's a good. That's just a good therapy, man, for people to turn the television off. And because a lot of man, I mean, I've done it before, and I've seen people do it where they'll have bags in their hand come from the grocery store coming inside their door, bags in both hands, and they before they put the bags down, they will click the television on.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, yeah. It's just like it's alive, it's alive, it's and so that television has a lot to do with mucus and pus desiring, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very yeah, that's very true. You know, that's definitely one of the things you want to try to do is unplug from the whole pus and mucus death culture system that you can, and that TV is basically a window
Oh
that's
man.
plugging you right into the pus.
Oh
My
man,
whole mentality.
it is the number one weapon in the world today as far as degeneracy goes. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
number
I
it's
agree.
the number one weapon.
Yeah,
You know, this is how all the dirt is it starts the process.
yeah.
So that
And I,
becomes a transition physiologically. Just getting rid of a television is a physiological transition.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you understand me when I say that
And
it has become.
I was off of the TV. Yeah, yeah. And I was actually off the TV even before I got into the diet, and I was just I would just be on basically on demand and just watch educational
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. So I was getting documentaries, and that would be, at least I'm learning something. It's like, and I'm not. The key is I wasn't exposing myself to commercials, and I see very small amounts of commercials even online. I don't see what a lot of other people see when they're online. I don't, because of the way I set my stuff up, I don't see a lot of ads on
Oh,
my computer.
that's another thing. I have to thank Professor for setting my computer up like that too, because I don't see any commercials, and it's just lovely, man. And when you say on demand, why would you want television and you got internet? That's the real on
Yeah,
demand.
yeah, especially these, because that was my attitude about the library, 10 years ago, and now the internet is taking over the library. You don't even have to go down the street to get your documentaries. You can get
No,
whatever you want online.
no, no. Exactly. So yeah, that's just something, man. I mean, I just wanted to get that off my chest, man. I wanted to keep this as a quickie. So I mean, how long have we been doing this, man? Right now,
I don't know. I guess if we ended now, it could still be a quickie. We've been on about a half hour.
thing I wanted to
So
kind of
that's, I
be
mean,
quick.
that's a quickie for us, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what has it been about 20, 30 minutes now?
yeah, about 30 minutes.
Okay, well, let's say goodbye,
All right.
man. And I hope some people will hope I didn't offend folks, but then I guess I don't know if it can help them get it together, man. Sometimes you just got to be talked to and dealt with in a certain manner, and sometimes you just need to hear something. It's like myself and yourself, and I asked people who are looking at this, ask themselves, are you the kind of person who knows that you don't know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are you the kind of person that just know that you don't know? Which kind of person are you?
Yeah.
Are you, and you understand what I'm saying, as far as you know that you don't know. And that's the way I kind of live, is I know I don't know. So I'm always kind of searching, but there's people who just don't know that they don't know.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And if there's something that we push out, because we don't put, like, people think that and assume that we're gonna be pushing people like real hard to do long fast and the diet, and
No, no.
they're surprised that how gradually we will suggest, transitional options, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You were told and taught to think a certain way. Break through the conditioning. That's where we're going to challenge you, and we'll make you feel uncomfortable for not questioning things, not questioning your own conditioning. You
Well,
know,
right. I think too the forum is a good place. Now it's people, man, who are going through this transition, who you can talk to in a real way, and ask real questions about things that you might not be able to talk to other people about, and won't nobody smirk or laugh or think it's crazy when you talking about an enema or how to do this or whatever. This is a helpful forum, man, in terms of transitioning away from mucus and pus, and I just think it's the best as far as your live it. I think that this forum is the best forum going on internet as far as really dealing with physiology. I know it is. I know it is because we've done the work. Professor has done the work to ensure that you're getting a certain level of quality control.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and for those who really want to know what the forum is about, or mucusfreelife.com is about, or anything that we talk about, has always been about sharing our experience of going through the transitional diet of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. That's all we claim that we do.
yeah, yeah,
We don't tell you this or tell you that and this concoction and this. We just want you to know, like, hey, 1.5 months, this is what I was going through. I'm gonna talk about on the next, or maybe a mucus, talk about some real heavy frontal lobe, brain frontal lobe eliminations that took place in my body, in terms, and that's a whole level of physiology that we don't even discuss. So that's
yeah,
going to be something coming up that we're going to get into, and 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 I'm going to try to break it down where people can understand it and see if they can get this and believe it. And it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff
So,
in the
yeah.
works. You know, this is a great time for people to be plugged into the whole mucus-free movement, and you know, like I said, this is the time of the leaders. You know, people are stepping up and, like we say, raise it high like it's your flag. You know, they, I'm thinking that picture of Jamie, you know, of his representing with the animal picture. You know, and that's what's up, because we got to. You know, because that's the vibe, you know, and that's just something I try to talk about sometimes, and we'll have to do videos on that. But it was, you know, people talk about fast and they talk about all that stuff, but the thing that what I experienced when I started doing longer fast, I wasn't like by myself. It was in the context of a community, and it was like several of us fasting at the same time, and there was this vibration that was happening of everybody plugging in, and it was just, it's just a whole other thing, and there's a technology there that we should study and understand so that we can get the benefit out of plugging in. Like, it's a whole different thing when you start plugging in the Mucusless Diet practitioners.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask you before we leave is Sister Jamie. You said she had posted the enema piece.
The animal bag chronicles, the picture.
Is
Yeah,
that just a picture, or is it a kind of a tutorial?
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Yeah, go on the forum and look at it. But yeah, she's just got it raised up. You know, she's doing the enema, and there's like a little corner of her where you can see her a little bit in the picture. You know, but she's just basically just
Oh, okay.
representing.
Oh, okay. I thought she had. Okay, I thought it was a kind of a video of it,
No,
but
no. Yeah, but I'm
but
sure that.
oh, another thing is the tutorial of the enema. Is that in what book is that in?
That's Spirit Speaks.
Okay, okay. So for those who wanted to know like a step-by-step way of how to do the enema, somebody had asked me about that, and I was trying to let her know that it wasn't that intense. She was thinking it was really messy and just, you know, and it's not all that, you know. It's
Yeah,
fairly easy to do them, you know. Uh,
yeah. It's easy to do it uh, like you say, you got to romance yourself with some incense and some candles and you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Really set the mood, you know. It can be quite romantic, you know.
Right.
I got you. Exactly, man. I done set the mood many a times, man. You know, yeah. It becomes a relationship, man, where you know the cleansing, the purging of yourself is just is that romantic vibration or something, man. So yeah, it definitely is not as intense as this sister was thinking that it would be messy and this, and it's just not that way. And so, with you say it's in Spirit Speaks, right?
Yeah. Spirit
Yeah.
Speaks is toward the beginning, and so it's in that first volume, and so yeah, that's what you want to check out.
Step you right through the steps, and so
Yeah.
yeah, man. Let's cut it short, man. Hope some people watch this and have some comments about it, and interested to see, people, um, their observations on the subject, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, man. I'm out, man.
Yeah. All right. Hey, it was a great, nice, quickie, as we say, and
I
and so
got it
yeah.
off my chest, man. I got it off my chest, off of my chest.
Yeah, all right. So I want to thank all you guys for tuning in as always. And until next time, peace, love, and breath.